yes, as you might have already gotten, we're going back to something that I've been doing a lot on my channel, which is Pocket Edition games. I will actually be bouncing back and forth, but I just wanted to say thank you to Warbots. I know it's really hard to set up a contest like that. Um, Honestly, I'm really surprised with how the mech is. Even as level 2, it seems really powerful, and has actually been able to take on a lot of heavier mechs. Like, I think it was it wasn't the Invader. I think it might have been the Invader. Don't quote me on that. But it was able to stand for a few seconds against it. As a moderate amount of base HP. As you see, it's already 94,600. It's really impressive mech. I really like it thus far. Now, if you're watching this video because of the title, don't worry. We are getting to the strategy part. As you see, it's... Let's see. Level 3. Okay. So... I'm going to actually talk about game dynamics. So if you're a developer of the game, just want to let you know this is kind of going to be oriented more towards my opinion on the game thus far. Honestly, as I've seen it, this game is more of like a giant game of rock, paper, scissors. Energy shields can be basically passed through by energy weapons. If you have strong physical shields or resistance, you'll be able to absorb most of that damage. Now, watching through, I think, it was Manny Gaming's videos, he was talking about newer perks and stuff like that to weapons, and it's basically going over and talking about the overall, the strength and the comparison, and how the Falcon, using the Traditionalist, which has a 50%, I think it's resistance plus the resistance that the Falcon has already, you're really giving a tank into the game where it's way too strong, and you would have to have like a 1v4, and you would have to have trying to think of a really good setup, maybe like Ares with Halo and Pulsar. It looks like a really powerful mech. Honestly, even they're going to have a struggle to try to get through with almost 3 million, I think it was. Yeah, about 3 million plus HP. This setup for the Falcon is unbelievable. I mean, like, even if someone was to get their pilots to a high enough level where they can get like regeneration and stuff like that, and people can afford the gold to counteract that, I think 50% is maybe not the best to do. I'd say maybe, as many recommend, about 25%, maybe even 15% resistance, because you have a lot of weapons that are kind of on the weaker in the spectrum. Like, my personal favorite, the Thunder, which I actually still have on my Carnage. Even going through my hangar, you'll see I didn't really change many of the setups. I actually liked a few of the original setups. So as you see, there's really not much that I can get to be able to counteract these newer, bigger mechs. And I can't really, because I'm not spending any money in the game, I prefer not to do that. It makes it really hard to go over and get, say, pilots. So if I wanted to, like, if I was going to look right now. Let me see real quick. Let's do it for the Gareth real quick. So we have all these pilots that I have, and all these are already equipped to my mechs. So Stanislav Chen, 2,500 for a legendary pilot. Now I understand that you're gonna have the bonus, which is a increased suppression effect. And when I was going over and watching the maxed out variant, going to 100% suppression for, I think, the Invader. Yeah, the Invader. 100% suppression makes the Invader a beast on the battlefield. Get enough people in there, like in a free-for-all, if you have 5 players brawling it out and you land dead smack in the center, they can't do anything against you or each other. And honestly, that's really good, but not all of the legendary pilots have that type of capability, that strength that he has. I can understand 2,500 for Chen, but I can't see it for a few of the other ones. There's repair abilities for the legendary pilot Steven Rogers that outdoes the legendary ability of Steven Rogers, which would then downplay the ability of Steven Rogers, where I could probably go, Rita Liao, I think is how you say it. Please forgive me if I'm wrong. Like, you can probably get a healing ability that's a little better than it. So honestly, you're gonna have to play and weigh in these numbers. So it's like, do you want to spend more money on the game just to go over and get more, to be able to compensate and fight against such stronger weapons and pilots? And you have people who are spending money in the game, and they just start off the game and they start spending money. And then you have pilots like me who have not spent anything, and I'm in the gold league now. So I'm going to have to fight through waves of like maybe Mach 2 level 12 max that shouldn't be there. Players tanking because they can't fight against the people in their league. So either, in my opinion, separate the two or something else like that. And I was looking through, and there's something else. It's like the setup of how much the weapons cost. Even in the heavy regiment alone, I can understand it costing a lot more than light or medium. But going over and saying, okay, so Trident being worth 1,000 gold, okay, it's a decent weapon. Maybe drop it by like 100, it would be a little more recognizable, a little bit more identifiable. Trident Zeus, okay, I'm not sure why you would bring it up by 500 though. It just seems for a weapon that used to be open to everyone through, like, I believe it was components. Again, correct me if I'm wrong. It's really expensive, and not many people are going to be able to have it. And I already have two. So if I wanted to, I'd have a Natasha already with these really expensive, really heavy-hitting weapons, which I'm going to have to either spend a lot of time working on or a lot of silver. And you start weighing in the odds, and you're like, okay, silver weapons, stuff like that. And the Avenger, the 2,500 gold. It's a lot. I understand that a lot of people can afford that, but I honestly don't think for the balance of the game, I don't think that many people are going to be able to afford expensive weapons like this without paying. And it just seems like more people are going to be able to have this, and it's going to be more lopsided because you're going to have more people having to field, say, Thunders and stuff like that, but more people are feeling, I think it's the Glory, I believe what it is. Like, I got the Tempest because I actually spent a lot of time collecting and harvesting. It took me about maybe a year or like a couple of months at least, which is a lot of time and resources, which I could probably put into just collecting silver so I can put it into upgrades and such. But I was able to get this and level it up to a level 7, and honestly, it's been worth it, but it's been, like, I probably could have saved up more silver. So it's like the costs beneficiary. So like, when you start the game, do not go for the paint jobs. Don't go for the cosmetics. As you see, I've purchased a few, but it was like, I've had this mech for a very long time. I've had it, but I'm looking back at it now. I'm like, did I really want to get a paint job for the Carnage? Honestly, the green paint job is fine. I know I could afford it, but if you look, I'm trying to save up for the Strider and the Halo, which is, I believe, the smallest or the small category for the energy shotguns. They cost 140 for a day, and for the Strider, it's 690,000. Honestly, you're waiting about 24 hours for the components to work. Plus, it factor in that multiple players are going to be wanting this. So when you're having all of these different things combined, you really gotta factor, what mechs do I want? What do I want to spend the time on? And I can understand maybe like a few mechs costing a lot, like the newer mechs. Like, I can see like them being like 5,000 gold, 5,500 gold when they're new, but I'm not seeing how even now an Inquisitor or a Spectre, even though they're still well used, I don't have any yet. Like, basically going through this, it's really hard to get these types of mechs. And you actually have to spend a lot of time and dedication, a lot of silver or gold to get these mechs, or you have to spend about $100 to get a new mech in and of itself, which is, in my mind, kind of crazy. I know this is how many people this is your job, but honestly, it does not seem well balanced, in my opinion. You have a lot of players who are going to be newer to the game, and actually I've seen a lot of comments, even in older versions, saying that, like, I'm not going anywhere in the game. I can't get anywhere. I'm not winning any battles. I'm not doing anything. Unless I can find a way to win, like, 14,000, 7,000 gold, I'm done. Now, the basic slots were, I think it was like 10, 50, 500, and then it's 5,000, and then you have 7,500. This is, I can understand for the hanger decks and then the basic hanger slots having that 5,000, 7,500, because you're adding a lot more mech space and a lot more mech range, which means you're going to have more weapons there. But many people don't even have. Let me look through my clan real quick. Not many people actually have more than one hanger deck. In most cases, they don't even have 4 hanger slots. So they have 4 there, and this person seems to have some decent stuff. But as you see with the Strider, they just got that, and they're still fielding a lot of stuff. Now, if they got those gusts recently, that would have been a lot of money that they would have had to have done, or they would have had to have saved a lot of gold from the beginning of the game. And you just think about it, it's like, yeah, so here we go. So they're level 6, you have high level weapons, you have more balance, etc., etc. But that's where you have this really weird exchange. You either have players who are going to save up for one mech and actually pour in so much time into it that it's a powerhouse by the time they're done working on it, or you're going to have more people with weaker mechs but with more areas, and they feel like they can't get anywhere because they got more mechs and weapons, but they can't stand for as long. In which cases, I'm thinking maybe based on level of weapons and mechs that they're fielding, maybe put it in, because I understand getting experience and stuff like that, but I don't think having players that are fielding, say, Mach 2 level 12 gear 100% of the time is going to be, like, conducive to anyone, because there's a lot of people who are getting frustrated and they're just like, I don't want to do this anymore. Now, I understand this is an older profile, but they actually kind of got frustrated at the game most recently. I don't know why, they haven't quite explained it to me, but if you're watching this, please don't take this wrong, but they weren't really able to progress forward with their account. And honestly, I find it that I kind of agree. They were in the battles, they were getting wrecked by people with mechs about twice the level of half of their max, or completely level 12 max with, like, weapons like crazy. And it was because they either spent money in the game, or they got, like, discounts or something like that, where they managed to save up and build up, which, as you see, if you save up, you could actually get a lot of good stuff, like the Ember, the Blaze, the Avenger. Honestly, I can say that I have not been quite good at managing in-game currency a lot, because whenever I saw an upgrade or something like that I needed for a mech, I either need, like, millions of silver for, and it's like, at this point, it's like, do I want to get pilots and get the abilities, or do I just want to get better? Let's just see what the upgrade is. 3 million for a level 8 Thunder. So it's like, you think about it, it's like, where's it going to go to? Is it going to go to purchasing newer mechs? Is it going to be going to upgrades? Is it going to be going to gaining weapons and such? Like, once, like, there's really no place that you can get to a point where you can be able to defend. Even, it's weird. Certain mechs, the smaller weapons are doing better than the medium weapons, and medium are doing better than the large, or the large is the best. In the case for the Thunder, it's an older weapon, but I honestly, in my opinion, think it should have been brought to, like, the present damage output. In which cases, I find that the Carnage with the Thunders is really interesting, but it's a lot of energy weapons are out there. A lot of people are getting components really easily. And I don't think that it's right, because it doesn't feel like the game is as balanced as it was originally, where everyone kind of had the same chance. and now it's getting kind of frustrating to see. Well, I still love the game, but it's getting kind of frustrating to see people in my category, same ranking as me, being able to completely outplay and outrank, where corner shooting and stuff like that is absolutely needed. If you do a poor job at that, you're done. You're eliminated. My level 7 mechs have been wiped out within like 2 shots of a few setups, and it's like, how is that even possible? Look, same league, same everything, completely wiped out. Of course, I did upgrade my Aljun to a level 3, but I'm looking at it and it's like, even if I do get a chance to upgrade this, and let me just see how much it'll cost to upgrade it next. So it was like 100, 200, 400,000 silver. So that was a big increase in silver to upgrade. So it feels like there's not many mechanics. So for any players out there, I'd have to say for this gamer strategies video, be wise with your spendings. If I would recommend any form of setup, silver mechs are sometimes good. I would definitely recommend, if you're a newer player, go with the Leo. Leo is immediately paced, like it's a nice paced mech, but it's a heavy hitter. Let's see if the GI patent. Okay, the GI patent is still 500,000. The GI patent is going to be still outclassed, but you can get a lot of stuff onto the GI patent still for silver. Okay, that is interesting. 1.1 million. That seems a lot for the Gareth. But I think if it was made a little easier to have access to, I think it would be a little more chaotic on the field, whereas more people would have it. But honestly, I do not think the Gareth is tough, but I don't think it is tough enough or fast enough to be worth 1.1 million. 800,000, I think, might be a better price range for it. That's the developers. Okay, so the Stalker used to be components, if anyone remembers that period. Okay, so the Jesse is now out. The Jesse is interesting. It's semi-light on its feet. It can catch up to a few mechs, but it's not fast enough to compete. With only 2 active weapons at a time, I would not necessarily recommend this as a full-out brawler unless you're maybe doing Halo and Pinata. But having Pinata and Pinata, unless you're playing it and you're swapping the guns out, so the instant you empty a clip, you switch out to newer ones and empty that, I do not see how well that would go. Just scrolling through, the Griffin is a really interesting choice. The Natasha is better for snipers. Definitely be on the lookout for, if you can get a Natasha. Definitely worth the spend if you like playing sniper status. Instead of just a Nashorn, I would Nashorn. I do not know how to pronounce that. I would say Kang D, which is a little more expensive on the silver end, I believe. I have not seen the weapon for a little while now. Let me see. Yeah, so the Kang D. I'm not sure. Nice range to it, nice damage. Definitely a weapon I would look into. Let's just see. Okay, so this is definitely worth the silver. If you're saving up silver, these are the weapons and mechs you might want to be looking for. They're basic, but they can still do a lot of damage for the heavy category. Save up for the Anisil as well. If you have an energy shield on the mech, this will cover and add more protection to your mech's shield already. Honestly, it's just something I want to put out there. But I think right now, I'm gonna cut the video right now. I'll add some gameplay later on. I'll have some gameplay footage, more strategies for specific mechs, maybe even a crazy gamer strategies, crazy setups where I put together some nonsensical setup for you guys to enjoy. But with that being said, I hope again you really enjoyed the video. Please go down there, slap the like button, pound the subscribe button to see more beta content. I'm Mr.CanKnotNot signing out. Bye.